are you talking about? The plate is like this big. You got the batters like you got.
What up? What up? What up? Sarah.
Softball sweeties.
Softball sweeties. Look at you.
I'm adopting it.
Okay. There's no salt to that. It's all sweet.
Oh, I'll bring. There's plenty of salt.
You
There's
got
going to be
plenty
of salt today. There's going to be plenty of salt.
All right. We have plenty to talk about. Last week, obviously, if you were keeping up with opening weekend of softball, holy cow.
Bananas, folks. Bananas. We have upsets. We have surprises.
Yeah.
Everything that you could want from opening weekend.
Yeah, dingers, shutouts,
everything. And Chez was there for all of it. I mean, most of it. Is it
Part of
really
it,
a big
part of
deal?
it.
Is it really a big deal if Chez isn't there? That's.
But yes, I was at Puerto Vallarta for one of the major upsets.
Yes.
Notre Dame over Washington, and we'll get a little bit into that.
Was that the? Okay, so we have
there was a couple of upsets there.
Is that the one that was most surprising to you?
It was most surprising because of how it all ended. It was just really kind of awkward.
Yeah.
You know, Washington seemingly tied up the game in the 8th. The Notre Dame coach comes out to contest one of the runners, and then the game was over. So it was like...
That's how it ended.
It was like all the players were like, wait, what? Is the game over? And the answer was yes. And then obviously on the final day, North Carolina blanks South Carolina.
Yep.
Another big upset. And
you didn't even mention the one that I'm most surprised by.
Okay.
I'm most surprised by NC State over Arizona. Yeah. That was my big shocker. I know Washington wasn't supposed to lose to Notre Dame, but like you said, it was kind of like, what happened?
Yeah.
Like, what was going on?
What happened?
UNC, South Carolina, I wasn't too invested in it, but the NC State and Arizona was the big one for me.
Why is that?
I had a lot of chips on Arizona,
yeah.
and I was just not expecting to see NC State take them down. And then they played Florida really hard.
Yeah.
NC State lost by 1 run to Florida the game after they beat Arizona. Really impressed.
Yeah.
Really impressed.
You know, the new coach had a lot of success at St. Francis, if you remember correctly.
Yes.
And
it's translating.
Yeah, obviously. She's a very good coach. So I'm excited to see what NC State can do this season, along with another team that came out of the woodworks and is undefeated, Indiana.
What? Yeah, let's talk about Indiana. Talk us through Indiana a little bit, because that one...
Look, one of the best coaching staffs in the country. They're well-rounded. They come out super aggressive. They have nothing to fear right now.
Yeah.
And they stuck it to Georgia. And Georgia attempted to come back, but wasn't able to scratch across a few more runs to win the game. But I'm very excited to see what this team does. Big Ten conference season and then postseason. Because if they can keep this up, I mean, they're vying for a spot in the tournament.
They run-ruled Virginia. They run-ruled St. John's. We made our conference picks last week, and across the board, all 3 of us picked Michigan.
Yeah.
Do you think Indiana's a sleeper in Big Ten?
I think they are. Heard
it here first, folks.
But, you know, it's not like Michigan had a terrible weekend. They played tough competition. They also lost to Florida. They have the pitching. They put up a decent amount of runs. So, I mean, right now, to me, they're still the favorite going into Big Ten.
You know what else surprised me?
What?
How badly A&M lost.
Yeah, that was not very...
North Texas...
stomped on them.
That's the only way to put it. 10-2, just crushed them. At their own tournament, Texas A&M tournament, North Texas went 4-1 there. They lost to California Baptist, but they just 10-2. Holy smokes! Like, what's going on in Aggieland?
Well, they lost a lot of firepower with all the transfers to Louisiana, and if you've been following Louisiana, they absolutely crush the ball this weekend. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about it. They played 6 games, 65 runs, only giving up 4.
So just rewind that and say that for everyone again. Yeah. Just in case you missed it, she's going to rewind that one.
Louisiana Lafayette scored 65 runs and only gave up 4.
That's
and then when you compare that,
ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And to go back to Arizona only scored 18 runs in 5 games,
which is also unbelievable. Bananas. Remember,
and
folks,
gave up
I said
10.
Bananas. Like with that offense that Arizona has coming out the gate that slowly, that's unbelievable.
They stranded a ton of runners, and everybody knows it's going to come down to pitching. It's going to come down to clutch hitting, stellar defense, and they didn't have the offense going into opening weekend. No. But, they could completely turn it around this weekend. They have some pretty good games lined up at the Hillenbrand Invitational, and they're going to debut their new stadium, which looks gorgeous.
That's big time.
Mm-hmm.
That is big time.
Yeah.
But I'm not counting Arizona out. I think it's bad loss.
Look,
I have a lot of chips on Arizona this year. I really do.
Opening weekend, it's a building block.
Yeah.
It's not something you should read too deeply into because it can be the exact opposite. If you remember last year, Tennessee was undefeated for a while and then headed into conference and kind of fell apart. And then we weren't really talking about them anymore. So, that could potentially happen with some of these teams winning early, and then let's see how they do. When a player goes down, a key player goes down, it could hurt the team.
And it's one game on opening weekend, like you said.
Totally.
Another big upset, couple upsets, going back to the Big Ten. Illinois came to play this weekend. They beat number 22 Oklahoma State, number 13 Kentucky, and then they lost to Oklahoma State again at the Houston Invitational. But they took down Oklahoma State and Kentucky. And if you guys have been watching, we've been talking up OSU and Kentucky. They're not easy teams to beat this year. Like, they are formidable teams. And Illinois took down both of them. I don't know. We might be sleeping on the Big Ten.
Yeah,
with Indiana,
we may
Illinois.
It's been a minute since we've talked a lot about the Big Ten. Look, the Big Ten teams can scrap. I don't doubt that. But Illinois turns around and loses to Sam Houston.
Yeah,
so
that was a tough one. What are you doing, Illinois?
We know what the talk is in the locker room. Like, hey, we've got to play Sam Houston just like we play Oklahoma State.
Yep.
We've got to play Sam Houston just like how we played Kentucky. You can't get up for one team and then not get up for the other one. It has to be the same. It has to be consistent. That's what it takes throughout the season. And it's a challenge. And look, I was expecting big things from Oklahoma State too.
Oh, yeah.
But then when I look at how many runs they gave up 21 runs. So to me, they've got to do some work in the bullpen and try to get that run number down, because if they're only putting up 30, that's a really close margin in terms of wins and losses.
Yeah,
and
it's too close. It's too close to be really competitive, especially in the Big 12 with Texas and OU this season. Like, you got to clean it up.
We didn't even talk about how great Texas looked this weekend.
We didn't. It's not even on our sheet. But
I know. I kind of blew it.
We'll take. Sorry. We're gonna take a little right hand turn for Chez to talk about our alma mater. You got the mic. It's all you.
Look, they look fantastic this weekend, and if this weekend was a glimpse into what this team is going to look like, it's very exciting. They're 4-0, scored 32 runs, only gave up 3. And they were rotating their pitchers around. It's not like it was Miranda Ellish throwing every single game. They had Ari Adams in. They had Shea O'Leary in. So they're using their entire staff and still only giving up 3 runs. They played Boise State. They played Boston College. So I look at that program as a force to be reckoned with. They swung the bats really well in front of a hometown crowd, and believe it or not, it snowed here.
Yeah, it did.
I wasn't here. I was baking in the
sleeting,
sun
too. It was very
Yeah.
strange. You gonna throw up them horns? Them horns?
yeah.
That a girl. There it is.
Hook 'em, baby.
We have them in the top 10 for probably
Yeah.
the first time since I have worked here. In the first time
That's
for
true.
the existence of FloSoftball, we have Texas in the top 10. And I think, just like Chez said, it's very well deserved. They looked really good.
Yeah, they look fantastic.
They looked really good. But if OSU is going to be competitive in that Big 12 conference with Texas and of course, OU, they need to tighten some things up, especially in the bullpen, like you
Yeah,
mentioned.
absolutely.
But man, I think the most surprising for me was how badly A&M took that loss and the upset by of
You know,
Arizona.
I was, to me, really bad loss by Texas A&M. They still put up a good amount of runs during the weekend, but to completely get run rolled is just bananas to me. The other thing is Auburn dropping 2. They lost to Louisiana Tech. They lost to Missouri State. And this is like their aces going down and taking those losses. When I look at Auburn's numbers, it doesn't look completely awful. They scored 33 runs in the 5 games that they played and gave up 12. But we all know this. It comes down to clutch hitting. Whether or not that's happening or not is a question that they have to answer.
And they've had quite a bit of upheaval down there in Auburn. I think I don't expect them to have a phenomenal season. I think this is going to be a little bit of a rebuild.
Yeah, I think to your point, I think Auburn and A&M are both
exactly
struggle this season.
I agree. It's
But
going
a
to be a
program
tough
like
SEC
Alabama,
program.
I feel like is going to be one to watch.
Well, let's talk about it. Nick Torina is on. He's there. We see you, Nick.
Okay.
And I know that you don't want us ever to talk about LSU, but we have to talk about him. We have not talked about them at all 2019 season. Not really on our radar. We haven't really discussed them. But holy smokes. They run ruled everybody they played.
Yeah.
And you can make the argument that they weren't playing good teams.
Yes.
But no, you can't make it because they run ruled every single person. Like, to run rule 6 people in a row is unheard of. They set a record for the most runs in a 6-game series. What was it, 72?
73.
73? Crazy.
And only gave up 2. 2 runs all weekend.
2 runs. They scored 73 runs and they gave up 2. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So that's not a matter of like, oh, they're playing shit teams. Because they did it to 6 people. Like, it was actually phenomenal. It was amazing to see.
I think Amanda Sanchez has stepped in and made an immediate impact.
She has.
And it's so nice to finally see Shelby Sunseri fully healthy and playing like I've seen her play over the season. She is a very talented player, is good in the circle, and also good at the plate. Gorsuch also had a phenomenal weekend.
She did.
I mean, all around, the Tigers handled business. Now, this weekend is going to be a big test for them.
Yeah, different caliber of teams. I get it. But, I mean, they were playing Tulsa and Iowa and Bucknell. I mean, to run rule 6 people is ridiculous. That's unheard of.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me, I think it was 2 or 3 seasons ago. Remember that weekend that they put up an absurd amount of runs in a weekend? Thanks for bringing that back.
Yep.
We appreciate it.
Yep. But they're going to be in a St. Pete Clearwater Elite Invitational. They have OSU, Oklahoma State, Oregon, Texas, Ohio State, and Florida State.
Yeah.
So a little different competition, but
yeah, what a perfect battleground for some of these top 25 teams.
Amanda Sanchez has 11 RBIs on the season already.
Yeah, I'm telling you, she was just an
she's
immediate
batting almost
impact.
700. Like, it's just absurd.
It makes a huge difference when these players are completely healthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I'm super impressed with how LSU came out the gate. Nick, do you have anything to say to that? Where is he?
Or D'Angelo.
Oh, he's asking us to be quiet. He's like, he's like, stop talking about it. He's like, shh.
We should put him at number 1.
We are.
What
We're
do you
gonna
think,
we're gonna
Nick?
put the Tigers
What do you think?
number 1. Put a target on your back. I was thoroughly impressed. You know, maybe I guess we're gonna have to start talking about LSU.
Yeah. You know. Oh well. Let's just break this down. They lost a lot.
They did.
Losing 2 All-American pitchers. kind of struggled on offense last season, and we had a lot of questions surrounding whether or not they were going to be able to achieve the same amount of success. And opening weekend is a good indication of like where this program is headed.
Yeah.
They're scoring runs. They're keeping the opposing teams at bay and not allowing too many runs. And to me, those are recipes for winning. So
they look good. Mm-hmm. We got to say it, Nick. I'm sorry. Speaking of another team that looked good,
yeah,
I'm gonna let you take this one.
Yeah, Oregon. Wow, 5-0, 5-0 on the weekend. Crushed the ball.
They sure did.
Offensively, this team is very talented. And I'll tell you what, this freshman class is phenomenal. Phenomenal.
And she's not just saying that because her niece is part of the freshman class. They are truly, truly impressive. And their numbers from opening weekend will tell you that.
Yeah, they combined for 7 home runs, 29 RBIs. Collectively, they batted .426. Rachel Sid was named Pac-12 Freshman of the Week. They looked so good and so fun to watch. And I'm excited for if she can keep that core group together, she's got something because that's a special group.
Yeah. I have said this all along with all the Oregon drama and the transfers. Like, she's a good coach. Mm-hmm. She knows how to win. Like, you learn how to win. It's not just you're good and you win. Like, you learn how to be a champion. You learn how to win. She has learned how to win at OU, and there's value in that. Whether she's ruffling some feathers at Oregon or not, I don't know. Did you see what I did there with the feathers and the Oregon Ducks? Anybody see what I did there?
Cornball.
You're welcome. Whether she ruffled some feathers at Oregon or not.
Had to use it again. Okay.
I did it. I needed to repeat for anybody who's just joining. She knows how to win, and she has a good core group with her freshmen. And if she brings in talent these next couple of seasons, Oregon is going to be back at the top of the pack. Mm-hmm. I don't think this is going to be their season. I don't think they're going to make the Women's College World Series, but I do think that they're going to surprise us.
Yeah, I was surprised by their pitching staff as well, but from the numbers, I mean, they're still giving up quite a bit of runs. They gave up 20 runs in 5 games. Think about that.
Yeah, it's not going to be their year, but
so I
guarantee you she's going to put together
devil's advocate here.
I guarantee
that means that you're asking your team to score.
Oh yeah, I know
over 4 runs a game.
That's quick math.
Mm-hmm. I'm not very good at math.
I'm very impressed.
Yeah,
I'm playing the long game.
That's a lot to ask, though.
I'm playing the long ball.
Am I right?
No, it's definitely a lot. It's definitely a lot to ask.
And then you're going up against UCLA and in Washington. It's a little harder.
They're going to surprise everyone, but they're not going to be at the top of the pack.
Yeah.
They're just not. They don't have the team to do it. But I'll be damned, she's going to put a good team on the field.
Yeah, no, the team's going to scrap. I have no doubt about that.
For sure.
It's just whether or not there are enough horses in the bullpen.
Robert disagrees with me. He thinks they're going to make the World Series.
Oh wow, bold.
That is bold. It's bold.
I don't know about that. I'm not there yet. We haven't seen enough yet.
I'm not there yet either.
They haven't played.
Where we have them? We have them number 23. They are the lowest ranked undefeated team in our rankings. Mm-hmm. We have Indiana at 21, who's also 5-1 or 5-0. I do think that they have a little bit to prove, but maybe that's helping too. Maybe they got a little chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, I mean it's easier when we're not talking about them, right?
And you know what? They have really good uniforms, so look good, play good, right? Like maybe there's something to it.
Yeah, they definitely look good. I'm excited to see what they do this weekend. It'll be a huge test for them. Tara McGowan is still not cleared to play, but obviously we saw what they did without her,
right? Which
was pretty good.
Put up some numbers.
Yeah, totally. Clutch hitting, the pitching was enough.
I'm definitely going to be excited to see them play LSU and Kentucky this weekend.
Yeah.
They also have James Madison who could, do some damage.
Yeah, this is James Madison's opening weekend.
And they're
and they returned Megan Good.
Yeah, they're going to be good.
And look, they weren't bad last year. They were a good team. They were a great team.
No, so Oregon, we'll see. I think Oregon's. I think they have their work cut out for them this weekend.
Yeah,
but I don't think LSU is going to run rule Oregon.
I'm going
to put it out there.
That.
I'm putting it out there.
We'll see.
I wonder what Nick has to say about that.
He wants us to keep quiet about LSU now.
He does. He doesn't want us.
He wants us to talk about them, and then he wants us to talk about somebody else.
I guess we can talk about our rankings. Yeah.
Well, we can talk about the PV Challenge.
Oh yeah, you were there. What'd you see?
Really cool environment, unlike anything that I've ever experienced at a softball event before. 10 of the locals come out and watch softball, and I just the competition was unbelievable. Like, think about this: top 25 programs, some mid-major programs, and everybody took a loss. Mm-hmm. Not one team walked away undefeated that weekend. I mean,
just really, really good softball. We talk about Mary Nutter being like, the preseason Women's College World Series. PV Challenge was like the pre-Mary Nutter. It was like the
yeah.
It was that good.
And
like
this weekend, it's not like it takes a step down.
It does not.
We have we're going to see Mississippi State, who had a pretty good opening weekend, but they did take one loss. Arkansas, who looks really good, obviously strong in the circle, pretty good with the sticks. Sacramento State, which is really not a team to take lightly. They're always finishing at the top of their conference. North Dakota State, a team that always finishes at the top of their conference. And Washington returns. They're there for 2 weeks. So we'll see them for a second weekend in a row. Now they're going to get their offense going, I think, this week. To me, their offense kind of ebbed and flowed. Mm-hmm. The previous weekend, they took a lot of they went deep in a lot of counts. So for them, I'd like to see them kind of capitalize a little earlier in the count and not get to 2 strikes so soon. And then in the circle, Gabby playing was a little rocky. Mm-hmm. She had some actually Taryn and Gabby had illegal pitches called every so often. A few walks here and there. But, when that team is going to be hitting on all cylinders, man, look out. And one of the most impressive freshmen that I saw was Sammy Reynolds, their left fielder, freshman from Washington. She is legit.
Ches, why don't you tell us just how much you like Washington?
Look, I'm just telling you, you guys want to hear about Washington? Okay.
Yeah, I like UCLA. I like UCLA in the pack, but Ches clearly likes Washington in the pack.
I'm talking about like what happened over the weekend. Why the hell would I be talking about UCLA?
Well,
I was in Mexico.
You're just giving a lot of love to the Huskies.
I'm just giving my breakdown and my analysis.
What else did you see at Puerto Vallarta?
I thought North Carolina was really fun to watch. They have a young squad, super athletic. They're high energy. They have a lot of fun. We saw them blank South Carolina. They played Baylor to a 10-inning game.
They did.
I'm very excited to see what they do in the ACC. They're definitely they're a team to watch. And always, I love watching Duke. Duke is a scrappy, young, up-and-coming team. The coaching staff has done a phenomenal job grooming those players and getting them to play together. So I think they're very fun to watch, in my opinion. So that's kind of my synopsis on the weekend. South Carolina, they need to swing the bats better.
Yeah, they got blanked.
Yeah,
by UNC.
Just situational hitting, picking better pitches to swing at. It seemed at times they were pressing, and top to bottom of that lineup, they are talented. They got power, they got speed. It's just kind of getting it to come together. That's going to be their challenge.
I threw that UCLA out for Nestor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's Team Salty Sarah.
Oh, yeah.
I see you, Nestor.
Mm-hmm.
We know what we're about, Nestor. So this weekend, we got weekend 2 of the PV Challenge. We got Hillenbrand Invitational, and we've got the Citrus Blossom Invitational. Mm-hmm. What are you excited about?
Hillenbrand. I definitely am looking to see what Alabama does this weekend.
We haven't really talked much about Alabama at all, and I'm also intrigued to see what they bring to the table this season.
Yeah, I think Montana Fouts started the season off very strong, and this team is scoring runs. They scored 53 runs in 5 games, gave up 11, but I think they're going to be a strong club. I think they're much stronger. Not much stronger, but they're stronger this season than last. So offensively, they needed to make some improvements, and I think it looks like they're headed in the right direction. But yeah, South Florida will be there.
South Florida will be there.
We won't be able to air any of the Arizona games, unfortunately. But I mean,
we'll be talking about them though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's almost as entertaining. Almost as entertaining.
But it's really cool if you're going to be watching the live stream. We're going to do a pregame show for the Puerto Vallarta Challenge. So I'll be breaking down all of the teams and giving you my predictions for the wins and see if I'm right or wrong.
And who wouldn't want to listen to Chez pregame? I'll be watching for sure.
Yeah. So at Hillenbrand, we have Alabama, Cal State Fullerton, who we saw at Titan Classic last weekend, Illinois, Chicago, New Mexico, and South Florida.
Big time.
So a pretty good lineup of teams. And then if you stay with us the following week, it's going to be a powerhouse weekend.
Oh, man.
Mary Nutter,
we got the start of the spring games. D9 Citrus Classic. It just keeps going. D1, D2, D3, JUCO, and NAI, whatever your flavor, we got it.
Look, I just want to say, Nestor, we're going to be talking about UCLA plenty when Mary Nutter comes around. Okay, we're going to give you the breakdown. We're going to give you our predictions.
Nestor, I'm with you. She's talking about Washington. I just can't wait until we start talking about UCLA.
We're going to have plenty of Bruins talk. We're going to have Sooner talk. We're going to have Duck talk.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the top 4 in our rankings at all because we haven't seen them yet on FloSoftball. We got Florida State, Oklahoma, UCLA, and Florida.
We're going to see all of them. So Oklahoma, UCLA will be at the Mary Nutter, and then we'll see Florida at the Judy Garman Classic, along with Tennessee, Auburn.
Yeah,
it's going to be bananas.
It already is bananas. So many bananas.
Yeah. Well, folks, that's it for today. Let's see. We will not be back next week.
No, you're flying.
Palm Springs.
Yeah.
Flying around the country, getting more tan.
Yeah, she said that you mentioned some tan lines, but I don't see them.
Yeah, they're little raccoon eyes.
Little raccoon eyes. Mm-hmm. We'll see Chez and her raccoon eyes later.
Yeah, we'll see you guys at Mary Nutter, and have a good one. See you next time.
Stay salty.